Hello friends. December is at the doorstep, the last month of 2023. I can't believe how fast everything goes. And these last few days were truly biblical, I could say. I'm thinking everyone here has experienced the month of November as a real eye-opener. Lots of new energies have come in, collective, galactic, universal energies, the universal mind, universal light has come in 3 times. Go back to my previous recordings if you haven't done so yet, with the blue light insertions based on the Hopi prophecies that has been happening. On the 25th was the final, the universal insertion of new energy, and just 3 days later, as I had kind of hinted at, the sun looked that way, that it would produce big eruptions, and that's what happened on the 28th, just 2 days ago, and we're still waiting for the big impact. So this is in the making, this event. It will actually be on the first day of the year, of the month, I should say, of December, when we will see the impact of this spike here, a huge spike of X-ray radiation, which was frying up the whole upper layer of Earth's atmosphere. Here you see it. This is what was measured when the X-ray blast was received. It centered over the Pacific and created what's called a radio blackout. So this is a huge insertion of energy which has been received by planet Earth. M9.8, that's an almost X-class flare, and what adds to the intensity is that, well, first of all, numbers mean a lot, always, as you know, and 3,500, this is definitely a very special number, adding up to an 8, and the 9.8 also adds up to a 17 and an 8, so the 17 is in there too. And this is the reading where it exactly came from. Here you see, it's a little hard to see the mouse here. You see we're going into number 6 here. This was the 3.4 flare, which just happened 18 minutes prior. So there were actually 2 flares coming from this region, 3,500, and the M9.8, a really big one at 1950 universal time, and that was when the sun was exactly over the 0 meridian. You see west 0, 0. Actually, I say it wrongly. Exactly centered towards Earth. That's what it means, because we are measuring naturally Earth's longitude as we perceive it from Earth. You see, that means 3,500 was exactly facing Earth. So we received a full impact of that. And as I guess those of you who are following me know that there's always 2 impacts. There's the first X-ray impact, which is immediate the moment it is seen on Earth, and it takes 8 minutes for those solar frequencies, the photons, the electrons, the neutrinos, all the particles which are basically weightless, have no real substance to them, pure energy. They travel at light speed, which is 8 minutes it takes from the sun to Earth. So this is information download, you could call it, into Earth's system. And then, as it always happens with big solar flares, immediately at the same time an CME, coronal mass ejection, was observed. That means at the same time the blast takes off, a whole lot of solar plasma is thrown out with the solar wind, traveling at roughly 1,000 kilometers a second, and this takes about 2 to 3 days to arrive, and then that is the big impact we see and we can observe, which are the auroras, the northern lights, and they are predicted to be quite something. Here is the prediction by NASA. You see, this is when I'm playing this here now, you see this is the wave traveling. Yeah, it takes a minute to load, I guess. Here we go. So you see here from the sun, this is the wave of solar plasma hitting Earth, and actually this is Earth here, so this is the impact we see on Earth. You see that is the moment it hits, and if you watch here, this is around noon on the 1st of December. This is universal time. Here you see it about noon, and that is the moment when this red wave is received on Earth. In that sense, that's the moment when the impact happens. Here it is, the big red wave. That is an projection, an animation. It can happen earlier. So anyway, that would mean that we in North America here will be favored, and it is interesting that also already the blast happened over North America, as you have seen here in this picture. So it seems North America is really in the target zone first and foremost. Now let's look at the chart, the astrological chart, which is really special. That is that moment, 7:50 p.m., and we are charting it for Greenwich as a fractal for the global community, exactly over the zero meridian of Earth in that sense. So first of all, what is really special is this happened just 50 minutes after the exact T-square with the black moon, 6:16 you see, and then 6:18 is the sun, 6:18 is Earth. So the black moon, actually I looked at this chart a day or two earlier, and I thought this was kind of the peak of the wave, if you want, which definitely was received already on the 25th, but it takes a little while to really settle down and incarnate, as all celestial energies do. Just think of the sun is at its highest over the northern hemisphere, for example, on summer solstice. It takes 6 weeks approximately for this summer heat to fully kick in, which is usually about mid-August. So we always have this delay. So the big impacts of galactic universal energies were on the 4th, the 18th, and the 25th of November. The 25th being a particularly powerful day, as it was synchronizing with Sedna, changing signs in heliocentric astrology, as well as Mercury starting a new cycle pretty much simultaneously. Go back to my previous recording, which tells you all about that, which is all about disclosure in a really mega sense now, coming into this earthly sphere. But let's look at this chart a little closer. So you have a 0-degree Leo rising. Okay, this is really the release of the combustion coming in, very literal. That first degree of Leo is extremely powerful and also very much related to sovereignty, freedom of expression, all of that, with the Aries midheaven Mars is here activated definitely, and Mars is still in a narrow conjunction with the Sun and Ceres, the Earth goddess. So it's all about releasing these masculine energies which finally are coming to the forefront, and we see it everywhere. I mean, so many countries now have said no to these big pharma companies, like Poland, like Slovenia, I heard, has stood up to the WHO. And here in Alberta, where I am honored to be living, we have a really wonderful Prime Minister, or whatever you call her, Danielle Smith. Just want to play you or show you this little thing here. Daniel stood up to the federal government, said no to Minister Stephen Guilbeault's clean energy regulations, which would have really impacted this province a lot. So that happened on the 25th of, or the 27th of November. You can, if you're on Twitter, just search for Daniel Smith and you can listen to this. I won't play it right now, but just saying, there is a really big stuff going on right now on this planet. Excuse me. And I mean, those of you who have been here with me for a longer time know that I predicted big changes in January, February 2022. That was then when the trucker convoy manifested. I also did predict another huge breakthrough happening around October 2022. I said that months prior, and that was when Elon Musk, this was a standing out event, took over Twitter, and finally we had a platform of free speech where truth really could be shared without having being censored. And now we are really in that next leg of Earth's liberation, you could say. We're heading into a dragon year. Don't forget that. Next year will be the wood dragon. The dragon is about initiating new things. The dragon is a fierce and fiery energy, very much related to fire signs, as well as the sign Aquarius, interestingly enough. So something is in the tube, something is building up, and yes, the impacts are happening now, but it's a build-up. It goes towards the end of this year. I'm showing you this, so this is really a strong build-up we are seeing going on. Now, I mentioned the square with the black moon here, which really is facing the shadow. That's what it means in a nutshell. And the 7th degree of Sagittarius, which is what the Sun has been in at that time in the Sabian symbols. Those of you who are new, this is what I'm often referring to, and I want to welcome at this point all you new subscribers too. It's wonderful to see so many more people being interested in those amazing synchronicities we see with the planetary celestial sphere, as above so below. It's synchronicity at best, and it's not that the stars would cause what's happening on planet Earth. It's really like two clocks which are independently functioning, and the celestial clock is just the easiest one to read, and that then shows what's happening on all these other levels, as everything is connected. It is the sacred geometry which links everything, which is the structure of the quantum vacuum, the structure of empty space where everything emerges out of, where everything disappears into again the womb, the void, whatever you call it. And that is where everything is coming out of. That's why everything is connected, all manifestations. The quantum entanglement might be something you have heard of, that two particles who have at once been connected, even if they travel to the far distant sides of the universe, they're still resonating with one another. That is all connected in what astrology shows us. So the 7th degree of Sagittarius, where the sun was in, is Cupid knocks at the door of a human heart, and the short keyword is emotional rebirth. And here in the comment, Rudyard says it's a subjective event which tends to bring to the lover a crisis of emotional chaos. How about that? It's kind of a personal wake-up call. Now, what really makes this intriguing is that hours later we had a Venus South Node conjunction. We get to that in a minute, just prepping you here a little bit. So this solar degree here, which is all about emotional rebirth, may bring to the individual an intensity of feeling which no group togetherness can arouse, at least at the ordinary social level. So this is an individual experience for everyone, and again, this is in the tube still. This is just starting to manifest, to unfold, and it will be truly coming to life with the protons, the charged particles which hold mass to impact with Earth's magnetic field, causing the aura switches tomorrow. So I strongly actually want to set a clock, and I advise you, if you're here in North America, get up early morning and watch out for auroras. They could be really bright tomorrow, as like let's go back here once more. I want to read this once more for you. They call it a cannibal CME, which means there is multiple coronal mass ejections which are coming in sequence, and if the faster one from behind is catching up with the one before, this is magnifying its impact. So it could be quite spectacular what will be displaying. And again, you can get the updates here from the Space Weather page, spaceweather.com. Always a good source. It's my homepage actually on my computer. Always, that's my first go-to place. Okay, so we spoke of the sun. Now let's look at the moon. The moon was in the 24th degree of Gemini, and that one, sec, just have to change here to this one here. Children skating over a frozen village pond. The use of inhibiting circumstances for the development of character and a transcendent approach to the environment. Speaking of inhibiting circumstances, indeed. Winter symbolizes darkness and the restriction imposed upon living things by cold. Now this is literal true, but it's also allegorical true. Natural life is in a state of hibernation or inward-turned activity, yet the developing mind can learn to use restrictions and the disciplining power of cold external responses to rise above the outer freeze and to grow in strength and skill. Isn't that exactly what's happening on a psychological level on this planet? So we are rising above the adversities, making the best out of it. That's what it tells us here, and Mercury was opposed by the Moon just hours prior. So there's a strong mental aspect to that of integrating perception, which is the Moon, which is connected to our more primal self, and the ability to think and make and reason, put the dots together. And then yes, it's not finished yet. Mercury actually is just approaching the galactic center here, and within actually a few hours of that blast, Mercury was at the galactic center most exactly. How about that? With Mars rising. I mean, you can't make these things up. This is a true activation of a new level of energy we have not seen before here on this planet. This is personal. This is a collective and personal both, and everybody experiences this in their own way, starting from where they have been, where they were before. It is a quantum leap for each and every single human being, pushing them to a higher elevation. As I said before, it feels really like the clouds are breaking up and the sky can be seen with all the stars, the moon, the sun, whatever. Taking our view away from the mundane 3D world where we get locked in so easily, and seeing something bigger which explains what we have been missing. Okay, so hours later, yes, 7:28 in the morning, you see the blast here was at 7:50 in the night. This is universal time for the Greenwich, the serum meridian. So roughly 12 hours later, we have Mercury connecting with the galactic center. And then another few hours later, in the evening of the 29th, roughly 22 hours later, Venus is exactly at the south node, in opposition to Aries, naturally, at the north node, which were just exactly conjunct 2 days ago on the 27th. Okay, this is really another awakening trigger. First of all, Aries, all about truth and integrity and bringing all the corpses out of the closets into the light, regardless if it creates upset, regardless if it is upsetting and triggering strife and conflict. This is taken in account by Aries, because Aries has that side to her to hone in on the truth and nothing but the truth. I mean, Aries was the one which, yes, it is the one who dethroned Pluto from its planetary status. Because, yes, I mean, you can see it from any angle, but Pluto is definitely not in the same category as Uranus and Neptune and Jupiter and Saturn, who are all huge planets in the range of 20,000 to 140,000 miles apart, somewhere in that. I might be wrong by a little bit, but Pluto is only 2,000 miles. Just this gives you the comparison. Pluto was the archetype, the first one to be found of that whole new category of planets which populate the Kuiper belt and further out, which are all much smaller than Earth's moon, for example. So anyway, yes, many people felt an upset about that at the time in 2006, but it makes total sense, and that's what Aries is about. It makes total sense in the end. And Venus here at the south node here opposing Aries, Okay, let me read you the 25th degree of Libra, which is another woozer, I guess you could call that, as soon as you hear what it says, this degree. And again, I'm really liking these degrees, because these descriptions, because this is not my interpretation. I'm not putting something on these alignments. This is the energy they carry. So however you want to see it as manifesting, this gives you the basic information that then you can venture out and see all the manifestations which connect to this original insight, which is the sight of an autumn leaf brings to a pilgrim the sudden revelation of the mystery of life and death. Very deep. The ability to discover in every experience a transcendent and cosmic meaning. Every experience we have as humans has that one aspect, and if we focus on that one, this is a huge revelation. This is a huge change of mind, of attitude. It really is describing what I said before, that opening to a much greater reality. It sees everything with fresh eyes, not only witnesses simple facts, but pierces through appearances and perceives the great rhythms of universal life. Beautiful, beautiful. This is what is starting to come through on all levels. Now, I also want to show you here, this is the heliocentric moment when Venus and the South Node connect. And once more, actually I missed something I want to get back to here first. So we have the Cancer rising here. Okay, Cancer rising, 0 Cancer. This is a change of direction as such. This is a huge turning point, a 0 degree Cancer, of looking in a new direction, with the moon in Cancer at the same time here in narrow conjunction with Vesta, which is all about that service to a greater source, to be connected with God, you could say, to be in service, to know that there's a mission to be fulfilled. So this in itself, and then we have Aspolus and Chaos here at the ascendant, even more close in the heliocentric picture, which is all about that defragmenting which is going on. And it is that stage of the caterpillar in the cocoon. Everything is disintegrating and forming into something totally new, which is the butterfly, and the time is ripe, the butterfly will emerge and fly and show itself and experience a whole new reality, a whole new world, which is not too far away. 2024 really will bring many, many breakthroughs. Not saying that it will be fully realized, it will take time, but we are on our track. It's getting clearer every day. So just a few more charts I wanted to throw in here. So you see the moment Venus and the South Node are exactly connected was here, the 26th degree of Aquarius and Leo in the power axis. Now if we look a little bit ahead, when Jupiter will turn direct, which I mentioned earlier as really being a major turning point by the end of the year, and the last day actually, that is where the moon will be. And Jupiter at the time, exactly at the 7th house cusp. This is a powerful manifestation of something new, something big to come. And Jupiter is always loud and magnifies whatever it touches. In Taurus, very well placed. It's about abundance in the real sense. And then Mercury turns direct a day or two later. Another change. Actually, Mercury will be moving retrograde from December 13th on. So if you still have something to accomplish before then, which is not usually the best thing to do during a retrograde, like signing a contract or buying something new, particularly electronic wise, I always do that before Mercury turns direct or after it is before Mercury turns retrograde, and or after it turns direct again. Also make sure you have backed up all your files and photos. That's always a good thing to do before Mercury turns direct, just as a little side note here. But on the 2nd of January, Mercury will turning direct again, doubling down with Jupiter, and what you see again, the 26th degree of Leo and of Aquarius. And as if it not is enough, this is the same degrees pretty much we had at the beginning of the Mercury loop. That was when Mercury first touched that degree and ignited this new cycle, which is then coming to full flowering when Mercury eventually will turn stationary in this degree. So December is an amazing month. Let's celebrate that last month of the year and head on into the new waters of 2024. Truly exciting times to be alive. Thank you so much for joining, listening, and being here with me. And if you like, please subscribe or share. Okay, have a wonderful day. Talk to you soon.